welcome to This Podcast Fits Your Macros with CaiLEAN, Coach CaiLEAN, and Coach Ryan over there. How you doing, Coach Ryan?
I'm doing good today, we're like, it's December 15th. This is crazy, people. It's almost Christmas time, and out of nowhere, out of pretty much nowhere, I feel like. How you doing, CaiLEAN?
My ass is sore, thanks to you, but I am not mad about it.
Yeah, your new program is pretty on fire.
Yep, and every stair I took up here, I'm like, yes, glute gains, this is how it's going. So
yeah, you just started a new program. We don't talk enough about your training. Maybe we'll do an episode on, it's a macro podcast, but we could maybe talk about some training here and there.
Yeah, well, we can talk about everything. See. Yes, if you want to see
what are we talking about today?
Oh, we are talking about, is eating healthy expensive? I think a lot of people, when they talk about eating healthy, they come up with cost objectives, and we're going to go through and bust some myths about eating healthy, go over what eating healthy is, because that is, a very broad definition, and just, compare it to not eating healthy. So that's what's in store today for you guys.
All right, I like it. Yeah, and it's probably the number one complaint you'll hear from people that are starting a fitness journey. So for all you out there that are on your January 1 journey, like many probably people listening are, okay? That's good. This will be helpful for that time, all right? When you start complaining like a little bitch. All right, let's dive in here. First, how could I forget? We got to do, is it worth the macros?
Yes, you're like getting ahead of the curve because you have watched this is a secondary announcement that I have officially started a TikTok. I said I never would, but here I am fucking doing a TikTok. Anyway, I started TikTok where you will have advanced little access to the Is It Worth Your Macros, and I will taste it right in front of you and give you my full ass review right then and there. So if you are on the TikTok, or you're a TikToker like the young kids say, go follow me. I'm so fucking weird, I'm sorry. My handle is It Worth the Macros? Did you say I add?
We'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah. Yes.
So you can get that link.
Yes, I'm still super noob on it, so it'll get better maybe. Anyway, so we've got the Cosmic Brownies. This was a request, right, Ryan?
Yes, somebody sent me that and said, hey, put this on the show. I can't remember who, so sorry if it was you. But yeah, next time I'll remember somebody's name so we can shout you out. Keep sending us submissions, but yes, we did get the Cosmic Brownie cereal, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to send this over to CaiLEAN because we know what she does every week, which is just, is it worth the macros?
Yes, so I got the picture. I was like, hell yeah, because actually, this is a cereal that I desperately wanted to try while I was on prep. I saw it, and I was like, fuck, man, I want to try that, but I don't know if it's worth the macros, and I don't want to risk it. So I was off of prep. He sent the message. I was like, hell yeah. So we'll do a quick little stat shot here. Let's see if we can get in there close enough. Probably not, but you can pause it if you want.
Yeah, I can see it, yep.
Cool. All right, so serving size is 38 grams. So again, probably like this much cereal. I did not weigh it out in my video. That was very naughty. I forgot to bring my scale, and I was crunched for time. So I just freeballed it, man. Anyway. The guilt.
You know how to do that, though. You've been doing this shit for a long time. I'm sure it was pretty accurate.
Yeah, it probably was. All right, so just the cereal is 150 calories, 2 grams of fat, 31 grams of carbs, and 3 grams to hit your protein goals. So,
okay.
Like all little Debbie stuff, I was actually quite disappointed at this. Not that it tasted bad, but like it looked like you showed chocolate cereal, a Cosmic Brownie, and it was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Maybe I'll taste like that a little bit. But didn't really taste like Cosmic Brownies at all. But tasted like a nice chocolate cereal. Like, I'm trying to decide whether I would have another bowl of this, and I'm probably thinking no, because I would much rather, I mean, like, I rated it a 7 out of 10 in my video, which is fine. Like, I just, like, chocolate cereals aren't really my jam in general, so, like, you know what I am still jamming on is those fucking apple cinnamon toast crunch or whatever that shit is. I've been putting that in my
that was a while
Greek
ago.
Yogurt. Oh my gosh. So that's a pro tip for you right here. mixing cereal with Greek yogurt gets you like shit ton of protein, and it's not too bad tasting. Like I do the 0% fat Greek yogurt, so I've been mixing that with my apple cinnamon toast crunch to get like 20 grams of protein in there. So a little protein treat if you're a cerealaholic like me. But anyway, disappointing. Save the $4.60. I'll probably end up giving it to Maura if nobody in my family eats it.
You still gave it a 7 though, so you're saying even a 7 is not good.
I mean, taste-wise, it tasted good, but I wouldn't, like, it doesn't taste like cosmic brownies.
Oh, you wouldn't, okay, so it tasted good, but you wouldn't waste the macros on it because it was not good enough.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough.
I get it.
And it didn't taste like cosmic brownies, so.
Because, like, the real cosmic brownies is the fucking shit, okay? Let's be honest.
So good.
I mean, even though they're so terrible, and
so
like
bad.
they shouldn't even be good, but they are good. I remember one time when I first started macros and like I had lost a bunch of weight, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna eat a whole fucking box of these. And it was like something like 2,000 calories, and I was like, that's it. It's my day's total. Don't recommend that, people, but I did do it successfully, and it was extraordinary. For the moment.
Did it get like crazy
was,
stuck to the roof of your mouth? Like, because when I eat those, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have to like scrape. Like, how many times do you have to scrape all the shit off the top of your mouth?
A lot, but I took my time. You know, it was like an Olympic event almost. You know, like curling or something like that, where it takes a long time to look out what you're about to do, and then you do it, and then So that's pretty much what happened. But yeah, anyway, cosmic brownies are the shit. That. Yeah, that's a deadlift day after that or something. But yeah, it's not worth it, I guess, for the cereal. But we want to know what else you guys got. Keep sending these in. That one was a listener submission. So send those in, and I'll actually shout you out because I'll try to remember whoever sent it, and then we'll shout you out in here, and we'll say follow this person or something. Okay?
Yes.
So send those in. And, and obviously this is a very healthy food that CaiLEAN just tried to eat for the cereal. And now we're going to talk about, is eating healthy expensive? Because, we're experts on that shit.
So, yeah, I mean, well, let me tell you, this box of cereal was like $4.50 or something like that. And I feel like that's pretty pricey. But anyway, I digress. First of all, I think we should talk about defining what is healthy. And we don't really like, using terms like healthy or clean foods. But like, it is like, there is a difference between shit food for you and foods that are better for you, which is what I like to say, foods that are better for you. And so, when we talk about foods that are better for you in the protein department, we're talking, instead of something like bacon that's like super full of fat and shit like that, we're talking more like the lean proteins, like lean cuts of steak, chicken breast, pork tenderloin is pretty lean as well. And there's other options to fish. Oh, I always forget fish because I reluctantly eat fish sometimes. I don't really like it. But,
somehow fish always comes up on this. Every episode there's a fish comment. We should have a fish compilation come up of just how many times fish has been talked about. Because somehow every episode you sneak that in there.
Well, I feel like it's very atypical of a bikini girl to not like fish.
I mean, I got a lot of clients, and I don't see many of them ever eating fish. So
really, I'm
not sure fish is a big, especially when we're talking about that. Fish is the pricier side of things, right? For the most part, I don't know. We'll talk about that later, but
yeah. Don't eat fish.
Yeah, finish what you're saying before I interrupted you.
No, you're good. And so, I didn't mention turkey variations there.
Yep.
Lean proteins. Turkey fucking is packed with protein. I don't know if you've ever looked at turkey tenderloin. Oh, you get like 30 grams of protein per 4 ounces or something. It's wicked. Anyway, so when you're trying to... Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Veggies obviously fall in this cleaner, healthier eats department. So, I mean, really, I don't think there's a bad vegetable out there. And we won't even get into lectins and all that shit. We're not going to talk about that here. But, vegetables overall are healthier to eat. There's a variety of them. And then, of course, we've got complex carbs. People say carbs are bad. Not all carbs are bad. We know this. Well, maybe we don't, but we're learning this. And, the complex carbs are going to be some of your brown rice, your whole grains, your sweet potatoes, things like that. So, now that we've established what's healthier, and of course you get fruit too, but like, fruits, we'll talk about that. Now that we've talked about established what's healthy, and again, all these things that I've listed are mostly unprocessed foods. Sometimes you get a little bit of processing with the meat here and there, unless you're like killing it yourself, which is badass if you do that, but that's not me. I wish. Oh,
Haley's listening.
I know.
Shout out to Haley.
No
if you're
Haley.
listening. Jacob out there.
No, she promised me elk if they get another one, so praying to the hunting gods.
Yeah,
that they
Haley
get an elk.
has enough meat in her house to last the apocalypse. But anyway, moving on.
We are so wild today. I'm on like.
Just to add to that, hold on, before you move to the actual thing,
Yes.
what I always say for healthy foods versus not is, wow, now I'm going to forget my own quote, That's that kind of a Thursday. It must be middle of December. I always say that, it's adult food. That's what it is, adult food. Okay, because, kids, they only love certain kinds of foods. Like, I'm just using kids as an overall term. Kids love, like, macaroni and cheese. And a lot of you are listening are probably like, damn, that's my diet. But, they like, mac and cheese and desserts and all these, whatever foods that are not necessarily the type of foods we're talking about, these healthy, if you will, foods. So it's basically minimally processed stuff like you're saying, right? The more that you can get a food that is just like in its state, the way it came, the way you got it, is going to be the better. It's going to be, so, that's a loose term because obviously we also very much support flexible dieting, macros, and CaiLEAN just ate Cosmic Brownie cereal yesterday before she did this podcast. So, we're just talking as a whole, people. We're not demonizing any of you. If you want to eat, hey, if you're fucking 48 years old and you want to sit down with a thing of Easy Mac for dinner, you go for it. Just put that shit in your macros. But anyway, let's get
Also,
to so. Yeah.
Oh, like for speaking of kids, because obviously teaching nutrition to a child is hard, and I want to do a whole nother episode. Maybe I'll bring Haley on and ditch you for an episode, but like teaching your kids how to eat healthy. But for her, like I always make her. I let her pack one. I call it a fun snack, which is usually Oreos because she's an Oreoholic. But then there's one better for you snack, and for this she kind of had a hard time at first, but I'm like, if it came from the ground or if it's one ingredient, then that is a better for you snack. So again, and when we teach this, we are teaching 80-20. So like just with my kid, it's not like I'm saying you can't have Oreos. I'm saying yes, have this, but let's also do some of this, and let's try to prioritize this before we eat the Oreos. Anyway, so let's get down to the numbers. You know me, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, I'm a fucanafucking numbers person. I love data, and I like breaking shit down.
This shit is like an Excel sheet is what it is. It's pretty much like a software program of analytics
like
and data and percentages. Yeah.
So I used to be a scientist in a lab, and my degree was in biochemistry, so like unit conversion is my shit. Like I love practicing that from time to time because it makes me
that's where you
feel good that I haven't lost it. That's where I get it from.
Here.
Right here, right now. We're gonna break it down. So what I've done for the next couple of items in the next several minutes is talk about some of these better for you foods. How much I picked a Walmart. I live in Arizona, so I feel like Arizona is middle range cost of living. It's not California, it's not Hawaii, it's not Alaska. Obviously, these places are going to have more expensive, cost of living, but it's also not, I think the Midwest is pretty low cost of living, right? I don't know. So this should be probably middle of the road for you. And of course, oh shit, I almost fell off my chair. But anyway, when you are... when I'm looking at these prices, obviously I'm being more budget conscious. I'm not picking the free range organic chicken because that is going to be more expensive. And right now we're working on budget. So this is solely what I'm thinking of. We're not going to talk about any of the health benefits to going organic, free range, all this stuff. We are looking for the most bang for our buck here because that is one of the biggest hurdles that we have to get over when choosing healthy foods. And I feel like it's all a progression. So once you see the value in eating healthy, then you might start seeing the value in getting that organic free-range chicken. But one step at a time here. Rome was not built in a day. Let's get the foundations of our eating healthy down, and then we'll dive into that stuff, maybe in a later episode. So right here, I've got the average price of chicken breast for $2.94 a pound at my store. Now, this is going to be a bigger package as well, which is, when you buy in bulk, you save money, and plus meal prep shit, like, you can do multiple pounds at a time and have your shit ready for days. So I calculated this all on 4-ounce servings, because when you talk, and sorry boys, but I'm a girl, and I know a lot of my girls out there do 4-ounce servings. So if you're a dude, sometimes you do 8-ounce, so just multiply by 2, whatever I'm saying. Which I guess I can multiply for you. No, you do it yourself.
Jeez.
What? You do the math. I'm not doing any more math. I did too much math here. Okay, so 294, I divided it by 16 ounces, and I timed it by 4, times that answer by 4. You get 74 cents per 4 ounces. So that is less than $1 for one serving of chicken. Pretty good. Nice lean chicken. 4 ounces of chicken probably gets you about 25 grams of protein and like a couple grams of fat. Not very many. Ground turkey is a little bit more expensive here. I had it, and this is 93%. Of course, if you get leaner, it's going to be more expensive, but 93% is $4.34 per pound. Divided it into ounces, and that gets to $1.09 per 4 ounces. And pork tenderloin, which is another one of my favorites that I like to do. I like to make a yummy pork carnitas. If you want that recipe, I will link it to you. Just let me know, because it is one of my favorite recipes of all time. And that is $3.92 per pound, which breaks down to just about, well, it's 98 cents per 4 ounces, so $1 a pound. So you see, one whole serving of protein, about $1, give or take 10, 15 cents.
Yeah.
So not too bad. You eat 4 or 5 servings of that a day, that's like $5 worth of protein. So anyway, hopefully that gives you an idea of what the protein life is. We're going to move on to the vegetables. Now, again, we're going to go cheapest, not organic. I personally opt for the frozen vegetables over the canned. Nothing against canned. I've just always done frozen vegetables. So I actually don't even know what canned vegetables are at. The going rate, they might be better even, but like, I don't know, I just don't fuck with that shit. Do you do canned vegetables at all?
I don't do vegetables, period. So
I don't know. They're just weird.
No,
anyway.
I mean, I have, yeah, I've done it before when I've decided, okay, maybe I'll eat a green bean today, but then I immediately rescind that decision and never do it again. So, yeah, they're definitely cheap though, but I don't know if they're cheaper than the frozen ones. I think it's probably about similar, but let's see.
So I like about the frozen ones is that you can get the steam fresh bags, and it's probably not great for you to microwave plastic in the microwave, and I understand
BPA
that.
there.
But I am on fucking limited time sometimes, and a lot of us are. So you know what? I make that sacrifice or whatever, and I will fucking microwave that shit. 4 minutes and 30 seconds. I have, well, it's actually 4 servings of vegetables, but I eat double servings in the morning and night, so I've got a whole day's worth of vegetables. So anyway, I digress. My jam right now is fucking mixed vegetables with peas, carrots, corn, and green beans. So yummy. If you haven't tried that in a while, give it a try. On the website, it said 7 cents per ounce. It basically broke down to like 22 cents per serving. 22 cents. Peas, same thing. Green beans, broccoli, all the frozen vegetables were about the same, I noticed. Give or take a few pennies here or there. For fresh veggies, we've got a cucumber, 56 cents for a cucumber, and that's even gone up a lot. I remember, like, that's like one of the snacks my daughter likes to eat, and they used to be even cheaper, obviously. Everything's going up, which, makes it harder for everybody. So that's why we had this episode, so that you know, like, here are some ways you can get around this. Zucchini is a great low-carb alternative. Those are a little on the pricier side, 86 cents each, but still, like, one whole zucchini is like 2 grams of carbs or something crazy like that. So, volume food, baby, volume. If you're low carb, that's where you want to be at. Spaghetti squash. I just bought one of these yesterday because I fucking love spaghetti squash, and I'm going to go on a little tangent here because I don't know if you saw my reel that I found, like, the most amazing way to cut spaghetti squash.
Yeah,
did you see
yes,
that?
I did.
Yeah. So, like, my whole life, I've had to play the damsel in distress for spaghetti squash and wait until Brad gets home for him to cut my spaghetti squash because I've almost killed myself like a million times, I swear to God. But when you cut it, hamburger way instead of hot dog way. One, it's easier to cut. I can cut it myself. And two, like, the spaghetti squash comes out longer. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, that video did not get enough credit. I'm telling you right now. I don't know if I was shadow banned that week or what, but like, if you eat spaghetti squash, that should blow your mind. Anyway, that is another great low carb alternative. Not as low carb as zucchini, but like, I think it's like 140 grams gets you like 10 grams of carbs, which is a very voluminous amount. Anyway, $3.50 for a large one. That'll last a couple servings. Like, a large spaghetti squash usually lasts me like 3 to 4 servings, so about $1-ish per serving for that. Of course, fruit is very seasonal. I feel like more seasonal than vegetables, in my opinion. But I didn't list any prices for fruit because I don't even know what's in season right now. I know, like, strawberries in the summer get super cheap. You can get like a whole pint or whatever for like $1, and same with like blueberries and stuff like that. So fruit can be very cheap if you buy it based on its seasonality. So maybe do a little research before you go to the store. I also didn't harp on fruit too much because some fruit can be higher in carbs, and if you're trying to stay lower in carbs, if you're trying to, keep your blood sugar low, we don't want to go with that route as much as, maybe the vegetables. So any questions on that before I move into complex carbs?
If anybody has questions, make sure. No, I'm just kidding. That's all on point so far.
I'm leaving it open to you because I feel like I'm just like steamrolling this thing.
No, it's good. I think, get through the complex carbs bit, and then I have some things I'll add because I do have some things. But let's get the facts to the people first.
Okay. So, one of the easiest complex carbs in my opinion is like brown rice. I just recently started a new love affair with brown rice, and I used to not like the way it tasted compared to white rice, but now I'm like freaking obsessed with it. And you get some fiber in there, which is nice. If you have an Instant Pot, which we talked about in our fitness gifts, it's very easy to cook rice either color in the Instant Pot. I think brown rice is like 15 minutes, whereas white rice is 4 minutes, which is amazing. And it keeps it warm forever. Anyway, so brown rice, I looked at the biggest bag possible and broke down the servings. It's, again, 7 cents per serving of brown rice. White rice, solid, which isn't a complex carb, but I'm just going to throw it out there because we're on rice right now, and it's not the worst thing you can eat. It's gluten-free. Rice is always gluten-free, so it's a good option for those who are, like, avoiding gluten. White rice is 5 cents per serving, so a little cheaper even. Sweet potatoes I love as well. You get some vitamin A with them. You get some fiber too along the way. I looked at, again, a frozen bag of sweet potatoes because they're really nice to put in the air fryer and very yummy when you do it that way. Or you can microwave them too. Again, like 4 minutes in the microwave, boom, you're done. 59 cents. 59 cents per serving for those. And then whole grain pastas, I looked at a standard box of a whole grain pasta. Those are going to run a little higher in carbs, but if you got them, why the hell not? Go for it. $1.43 for 8 servings, so that breaks it down to about 17 cents per serving. Oh, I should have looked up lentils. That would have been a good one. Let me look at them. You go on. I'm done with my list right now. I'm going to look up lentils.
Yeah, great. So, I was just going to say pretty much like, this is from, what store is this from? Walmart, you said?
Walmart, yeah. I figured everybody has Walmart.
Yeah, so, and obviously people are going to want us to compare this to, frozen meals or fast food, which we will do at the end of this episode, people, so stay tuned with us. We're going to get there, and we're going to talk about that and kind of compare prices for you. Make sure you're subscribed and following. But I was going to say, pretty much, the main thing is there's also other ways to save money on healthy type foods, even if you don't go to the per se Walmart grocery store or other ones, right? Like Costco. We always talk about Costco. Sometimes Costco has absurdly good pricing for many of the things we're talking about. Like if you don't have a problem having bulk food at your house, like you just talked about rice, I know, like you can get a fucking sack of rice. Like you could open a restaurant with the size of a bag of rice they will give you over there, and it's like $10 or something. It's crazy. So, and the meat, too. The meat is very reasonably priced. I know a lot of prices are going up in a lot of places. I see it in the store all the time. Costco stays pretty stable, so that's one way. And again, not sponsored by Costco. Wish I was. Wish we were. If anybody from Costco is listening, send me an email, okay? That's one way. But also, if you want to go off the grid, right? You don't even want to go to the store. Depending where you live, a lot of times there's local farms and things like that you can get stuff from that will be way, way, way cheaper, right? I remember like several places that I've lived before, there's people that have farms around, and they'd be selling eggs out in front of their house because they have 1 million chickens or whatever, and they get they'll sell you 5 dozen eggs for like 25 cents or some shit. So there's crazy ways to get cheap stuff, even meat. There's local butchers, things like that sometimes will be cheaper, sometimes not. But I'm just saying, if you're really going down the train of trying to save money and you want to look at options, to do that in the most cost-effective way, there's a number of ways to do it if you actually want to go down that rabbit hole enough. And I mean, this is Walmart, easy enough. Many stores can be similar to this, but even if you're like, wow, this still sounds like a lot to me, which it won't by the end of the episode, but, if it does, there's other ways to even cut more costs on that. So that's all I was going to throw in there.
Yes, and not to mention when you support like the small local farms, like you feel much better about it, and more than likely those animals are raised in a much more humane manner, and overall it would be way better if you could go to your local farm, and if it's cheaper, then fucking go for it, man. Why would you ever shop at Walmart? God.
Right. People at Walmart.
I hate it. Yes. Okay. So, like, with all of this data, really, it breaks down to about, depending on what you're picking, if you're picking a protein, a veggie, and a complex carb, we're looking at like $2 a meal, give or take 50 cents here. And you times that by 2 if you're a dude, that's $4, cool. But like, how many meals are you eating a day? Maybe you're eating 3, maybe you're eating 5. Everybody's macros are going to be different, but what you got to compare this to is fast food, first of all, because it's like, oh, eating healthy is too expensive. Let me go to McDonald's and I'll get a number 7 because, that makes sense. And 1, you're not hitting your nutrition goals because all that is complete garbage. But 2, I was just looking, I don't, from our travel episode, I don't spend money on fast food. So I legit had to look up what's the going rate for a fucking meal. And it's like $8 to $13. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? That is so fucking expensive for garbage food that's gonna make you feel like shit and not gonna help you meet your goals. Either way, yeah, you're not feeling good after that decision. The other thing is, sometimes when people are starting to try to eat healthy, they'll be like, oh, let me get a shit ton of lean cuisines. Now, lean cuisines could be great when you are starting to eat for your goals, only because they do portion control you. So if you're someone who really, really doesn't have the time to meal prep, you can buy a shit ton of these and maybe use them to supplement, with your other stuff, because most of these things are not going to hit your protein goals more than likely. Because I think my mother-in-law had one the other night, and I was like, let me look at this. It was 30 grams of carbs and 15 grams of protein. I'm like, okay, whatever, maybe. And she actually added some of my chicken in there, so she bumped the protein up a little bit, so I was proud of her for that. But overall, they're not going to hit your goals solely, but if it's between getting a lean cuisine and going and getting a number 7 from McDonald's, I don't even know what a number 7 is. If you do know, tell me. I don't know if that's your order. Anyway, you are going to be closer to your goals if you're eating the lean cuisines. It is going to be more of a premium price versus just buying your ingredients and making it yourself, but you are exchanging, the work of the meal prep versus, just throwing something in the microwave for however many minutes. But at the end of the day, we're here to tell you that, if you want to save money, you can buy all these ingredients and it will not break your bank. You can cook it all yourself. You can pre-plan ahead. You can pack your meals up if you want to. I just put it all away and then scoop it out individually, but if you work, I have the luxury, I'm not gonna lie, I have the luxury of working out at home, so I can just go to the fridge and get it.
You don't say.
A lot of people, don't say, but I realize most people don't, so in that case, I would definitely scoop it out as you're cooking it. But between the air fryer and the Instant Pot and a pan full of ground turkey, you can get your meals prepped for the week for way cheaper than fast food. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it's the whole thing too. It's like, and also with these frozen meals, like you're talking about lean cuisine, whatever, there's a million different kinds. You know, I've actually eaten some of these before, actually, when I was like real broke. And like I would go to the discount grocery store and buy some of those, and I was like, okay, because, you know, I thought they were more reasonably priced at the time, but that was when I was still learning about money and all that shit back in the old days, so they were not. But they also fucking suck, okay? Like, they don't taste good. And also, the portions are not correct. Like, if you think that you're going to eat a meal and that's going to be satisfying as it could be if you just made one, it's totally wrong. Because, like, you know, I would get those and open it and be like, I think I only ate one ever. But I bought, like, 10 and I just threw the rest away because I was like, this is shit. But, like, you know, I opened it and it was, like, frozen shit for one, and it's all freezer burned. And then you put it in there and heat it up, and then it comes out and it's like, what the hell is this? It's 2 bites. And, like, you know, I'm like, what? I'm not even gonna look at this, you know, but
is this
it's
a
just
meal
not
for
worth
ants?
it.
You know?
Exactly. A meal for ants is exactly, it felt like Ben Stiller was in my ear. Like, what are you doing with your life? And that's why I threw them away. So that was the problem. But I mean, like, that's usually how those things are. That's why they're considered like a diet food. It's like they took the same foods and just gave you less of it and froze it for you, and now it's a meal kind of thing, you know? And, like, there's, like, all those other ones, like fucking Hungry Man. And all, those are not diet foods either, but it's all the same story, you know? You're not getting anything good out of it. So it's really not that beneficial, and it will hold your goals back, you know, for sure. If you're going to do prep meals, like we probably should have talked about, we talked about a few episodes back, there's places to do prep meals where it's actually good food, you know? Like we talked about Flex Pro meals before. Those are going to be a little bit more expensive, but, you know, for the convenience factor, it's better. And again, it's still cheaper because, like, I looked at when you sent me this list the other day, yesterday, I was just browsing some fast food places. There's shit at Taco Bell right now that costs $7-8 for one thing, which is crazy. I remember, like, Taco Bell had, like, things that were 50 cents at one point, and now they're like $7-8. So, I mean, like, and, like, honestly, aside from you or anybody else that is very, like, even if you went to Taco Bell, you'd probably get one thing. Like, somebody like me, you know, if they're going to go to Taco Bell, it could be 4, 5, 6, you know, who knows how many things. I mean, most people probably get a few things. So then you put yourself in the macro calorie tank bad. And also, like, you know, like you said, we're talking about up to maybe $15, $20 for a single convenience meal. It just doesn't make sense. And, like, if you go into this, get the right foods, you know what to get. Maybe we could put a list of these things somewhere. Maybe we'll put a list of these so people can just, like, download a quick list of your items and ideas. And because really that is the foundation of pretty much all meals that we're talking about. If you're a health and fitness type person, you're going to want to have some kind of a carb source, some type of vegetable probably, and then, you know, your protein is going to be the king, or just cut the rest of the shit out like I do and just eat the meat. Okay, that's another option.
What we have done is an omnivore diet. You know, obviously, if you're carnivore,
yes,
half that shit ain't gonna fly. But
well, I'm not really carnivore, but you know, either way, the point is, you know, enjoy it. But the thing is, with it all, the next thing I think we have to probably talk a little bit about is just like it's kind of like part 2, I guess, of this episode in a way. But whatever, let's just sprinkle it in. Would be the actual way to meal prep, okay? Because people listening to this right now are probably like, okay, I get it's cheaper. I'm getting that all this is like, you know, whatever. CaiLEAN says 52 cents for a sweet potato or whatever. I don't care. I still don't want to go home and have to buy all this shit, cook it, and do all that. And I think a lot of people think that's because it's a everyday type thing, right? Every day you got to wake up and cook your 5 meals or whatever. Let's just talk for meal, and I know it's not on your list, so I'm going to throw you off, but I don't care.
Oh, man.
Let's just talk for a minute.
I do this all the time.
Some quick meal prep tips. You know what I mean? Like, what are some quick tips? How do you, let's say for the person who's starting January 1 right now, for the first time, or maybe, you know, restarting for the last time, how do you meal prep in the most simple and effective way?
The most simple and effective way is to keep it simple. Like, yes, you can go to the recipe books and you can make all these different recipes and blah, blah, blah. But let's save that for when we're a little better, well-equipped, more time management, more, you know, inspired to eat healthy. When you're starting, just do the basics, man. just prepare 2 to 3 proteins in bulk. I like using my Instant Pot for the chicken and using, of course, the stove for my ground turkey. Sometimes I get my husband to grill chicken on the grill, and that's an awesome day. But if you don't grill, that's fine too. I know there's like George Foreman grills too. I know those won't be as cost or time efficient because, you know, you can only fit a couple on there. But if you're grilling, throw a shit ton of meat on there. You could throw everything on a grill and be done in one freaking thing. But I realize not a lot of us grill, or maybe I'm speaking for everybody. So yeah, for the meat department, Instant Pot, air fryer, or the stove. You can air fry chicken too. It makes a fucking mess though. It's so annoying. But yeah, pork tenderloin. My pork tenderloin recipe is Instant Pot thing. Boom, 40 minutes. You've got like 3 or 4 meals worth, depending on how many people you share it with. With the mixed veggies, you can either boil a big fucking pot of them in the regular bags. Like sometimes I will do that. I'll buy like the 2-pound bag of veggies, and I'll just like boil a shit ton of them to last me through the week. But other times I just feel lazy and I just bag, like every time I go to the store I buy like 8 bags of mixed vegetables and steam fresh bags, and my daughter's like, wow mom, do you like veggies? And I'm like, yeah I do. But anyway, throw one of those in, boom, 4.5 minutes later you've got vegetables, and that's like about the standard time for most of the vegetables. Same thing for those frozen sweet potatoes. If you buy fresh sweet potatoes, you can stab them and microwave them for about 5 minutes, and then boom, they're done. Because when you oven roast sweet potatoes, it takes like an hour, and nobody's got fucking time for that shit. So you can microwave sweet potatoes if you're not against microwaving things, which I realize there is a whole bunch of people who are against microwaving. And for you, again, it might be worth your time to throw them in the oven, but for me, no, I'm gonna fucking microwave them. Obviously you can meal prep a shit ton of pasta. Pasta's a little tricky though, because it is on the nutrition label as dry pasta. So me personally, when I'm in prep, because of my very type A self, if I'm eating pasta on prep, which is very, very rare, or even if I'm eating pasta in general, I will make it individually. I won't meal prep a whole lot of pasta, so I will weigh it dry and then put it in the water, and then like I'll cook my family separate because they don't give a shit about how much pasta they have. But I will have a whole little pot of my own pasta just because, you know, I need to be very accurate, but I'm in the minority here. White and brown rice, like I said, Instant Pot, 4 to 15 minutes. You've got fucking rice for days, and I freaking love rice as a base for everything. I've been eating it with my eggs lately. It's so good.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Dude, yeah, so that's basically it. Easy, bulk, simple. And there's so many sauces and spices out there that are so amazing that will take your meat to the next level, or even your veggies too. Like, you know what I've recently been doing? Well, not a whole lot, but every once in a while, I found at Sam's Club an orange chicken, Panda Express orange chicken flavoring. That shit's good, man. It's got some carbs to it, so of course you gotta factor that in. It's not gonna be calorie free or anything, but you know, if you are used to going to Panda Express and paying $10 for orange chicken, you could make orange chicken at home for like $2 and have it for like 5 days. So there are options. Take a look down your seasoning aisle. I know Trader Joe's got a shit ton of cool seasonings too, places like that. But Flavor God, places like that. You can do whatever you want. And so just cook up a shit ton of meat, cook up a shit ton of veggies, cook up a shit ton of carbs, season at will, and then boom, you're done.
Yeah, so how many days does that get you? How many days do you recommend people prep out, right? So if you go cook all this stuff, is that lasting a week? Is this lasting 2-3 days? What are we talking about?
For 2 to 3 days, only because of freshness issues. But you could do it.
So about 2 times a week.
Yeah, I like doing it about 2 times a week. Now, if you're pressed for time, it might just be, you know, the weekend day or the day you have off from work. You got to do all your meal prep, and that if that works for you, you go for it. I've got a husband that will not eat food that's older than like 3 days old. So for me, a lot of food gets wasted if it's like, you know, too much in excess.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. And did we do an episode on meal prep yet?
We did. I think one of our first ones. I think our first
was it?
Yeah.
Full episode on.
Yeah.
I've talked about all this shit so many times in like my past life here of doing this shit that I can't even recall anymore. But whatever, we won't do that then if we already did one. I was gonna say let's make another one, but no.
It was very early in the podcast days because I was like, there was no video. I was like sitting in my room. I don't know why I recorded. Oh, I think I had to record in my bedroom because like my dog was being an asshole, and so I'm like crunched up like in this. So it's ingrained in my mind.
Dang, so that did happen. Okay, well, go back and listen to that episode then, people. If you're looking for more tips on meal prep, whatever episode that is, we'll put it down here in the show notes. And check that out. But yeah, I was just gonna say too, for the final hack on meal prepping, right? If you don't want to keep it all fresh, because it sounds like you keep it fresh, right? You cook it 3 days, you eat it all. Yeah, like what I used to do when I would meal prep, which I don't do much anymore now. I just, because again, we work at our houses, we just do whatever, What I would do is, cook all of it out in the simplest way. Like, there was a point where I didn't even ever heat up my vegetables like you're talking about. I would just throw them in the microwave with my chicken or whatever when I was reheating it, and it would reheat it. So that's a really crazy hack there. But like what I would do is also, if you have freezer space, you can freeze things. So you could cook out a week of food, put some in there in some Tupperware, save it, eat the rest in a few days, pull the rest out midweek. Basically, if you do that, if you're going to do like a whole week of food prepping, you're going to need a few hours. It's not that bad. Or if you're doing it, CaiLEAN's way, 2 times a week. These are probably the 2 most common ways I hear. You're going to do it, in still just a few hours a week. So the point is, not only is it not expensive to eat healthy, it's also simple. It's also like a lot simpler. I know people that go to the store every day and they try to buy don't do that shit. Just simplify your life.
Mm-hmm. And keep it away from the dogs. I just had a client who meal prepped a whole bunch of chicken and then her dog ate it when she was in the bathroom, so.
I've heard that actually so many times. So many times. Don't leave your shit out, people.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So what, does that put us where we're at here? The end? Is that the end of the day?
We're capping it before an hour. You're welcome, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all listening too. Keep the suggestions coming. Are we doing an episode next week? Well, who knows, right? Probably. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we will throw a movie on for my kid because it's winter break vibes. Woo! Next week, but we'll get it going. We'll get it going for sure.
We're gonna have these keep coming, and in the new year again, everybody listening, we're keeping this consistent at 1 week. 1 week. 1 a week. 1 episode every fucking week until we're dead. So, whatever stuff you want to learn more about or hear more about, send it over, let us know. And if you're digging it, just share it. That's what helps us the most. We're trying to do this to help more people. That's the goal. I mean, this is free shit. This is a lot of hacks and tips. Some people would pay us for this shit. But we're doing it here for free for you listeners. So, get in there and share it because it helps us out.
Yes, and I hope that this gives you the motivation to quit making excuses about cost for things. And of course, if you guys need any help, if you're still listening to this episode and you're just like, God, I just really don't know where to start, reach out, I'm always online. I'm always on Instagram. You're always on Instagram. We can help you. At the end of the day, I just want a healthier world, to be honest. And I want... especially eating healthier foods is just so, it's almost like taboo to eat healthy foods versus junk, If you bring your own healthy food somewhere, it's like, oh, that's weird. But, I would love if eating healthier got more mainstream because, that's what our world needs. And we are having some crazy epidemics, obesity epidemic, illness in general that, a lot of this can be solved by eating foods that are better for you too. So,
totally.
That is my drop on that. Yes. All right.
All right. Thank you, guys. And I'll see you next week, CaiLEAN. Bye.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.